inspiring conversation with Jackie Woodside, who is a USA Today and 5-time international Amazon bestselling author, TEDx speaker, international trainer, and professional coach. She is the founder of the Conscious Living Summit and the Conscious Living podcast. She is also the executive producer of the upcoming film Money Vibe, which I am personally starring in, and it's based on her best-selling book by the same name. She's been featured on television shows with Jack Canfield and Don Miguel Ruiz and educational summits throughout the world. Her expertise is widely sought after as a teacher and speaker. So with that said, here is my dear friend, Jackie Woodside. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Power Up Your Life podcast brought to you by GoBundance Women. I'm Kelly Resendez.
And I'm Mandy McAllister.
And we are thrilled to have just an amazing friend of mine, Jackie Woodside, here with us. How are you today, Jackie?
I'm happy and blessed. Super happy to be here with you guys. High energy, high vibe, successful women. This is totally my jam.
This is the best way to spend a Monday morning, right? Like, we're going to be feeling great after this. So, Jackie, with that said, if you wouldn't mind just sharing a little bit of your story in just a few minutes and where you are and what you've been up to and just kind of give us a little bit of history on yourself.
Well, sure. Thanks for asking. I was a therapist for 30 years, and now I've been a coach for 30 years. So I'm a speaker, author, trainer, and coach. I would say that progression moving from therapy to coaching a little bit mirrors my backstory of going from hot mess to happy and blessed, if you will. I came from a pretty colored experience of, I'm a survivor of domestic violence and was diagnosed with PTSD and chronic depression and ADHD. I was on a bunch of psychiatric medications. I was racked with addiction and needed to, and thank you, but by the grace of God, have recovered from all of that. So when I say I went from hot mess to happy and blessed, I mean that in the most real and practical ways. That my life as a young adult, I was not very well, and it was through really beginning to, so I became a therapist. That's what I think a lot of people who aren't very well end up doing, go on your own healing journey, becoming a therapist, and like no criticism of that. I think I was actually a very good therapist. I had wonderful relationships with many patients, thousands of patients over the years, and, who got well. So, but it clearly mirrored my need for looking at, my psychological recovery and well-being. And it's so funny, as I got well, and, kind of through my process of the psychotherapy and 12-step meetings and couples, all the stuff we all do to get well. I actually had a psychotherapy patient once tell me I was way too happy to be a therapist. And hence born my interest in the coaching and ontological domain and really helping people understand that it is their consciousness and their beingness that is the creative element of life. And you really can't get into that conversation until you're psychologically well. So as I got healthy, as I got well, I was really, and still am, fascinated by this notion that we have the creative capacity within us to create the experience of life that we want. And certainly when you're not psychologically well, that's like, yeah, right. You don't have that mindset. You don't have those skills. So that's a little bit about the backstory. Again, I'm grateful for all of it. There's no part of what I've lived through that I would say like, oh, I want to take that one out. It's all made me who I am. And who I am is someone that I've come to admire and inspired.
Just gave me the chills.
Oh, thank you.
I love that. Well, I mean, this is why you and I just became super fast friends. This is your entire story. And, it's such a hero journey. And a lot of people that are on that journey don't decide to share it with the world, but you have definitely decided to change the world with your message. And one of the things that you really talk a lot about is money. And I was actually on with my dear friend, Marie Diamond yesterday, and we were kind of going through one of the things in my book that is out there, which is kind of fear of numbers. And a lot of people are in avoidance around money. Tell me a little bit about like the consciousness of money that you've really chosen to share with other people to be able to help them live a more blessed and abundant life.
Yeah, that's such a great question. I didn't include in that list of hot mess to happy and blessed. I was also homeless for a time, getting out of my
Ah.
domestic violence situation, had no place to go, not enough money in the Boston area for first, last, and security deposit. And so, yeah, I was homeless for a time. And wow. So again, this journey of mine to now, from homeless to now I own 3 waterfront homes, from flat broke to multiple 7-figure assets. So it has been a journey, and none of that happened overnight. How I used to relate to money was very much like I'm the victim of it. Like I don't know why money and I don't get along better. I'm just not one of the lucky ones. I'm such a loser, and that really defined not only my kind of how I felt about money, it defined my experience with money. So if I would, if I had money, I would lose it very quickly. I mean, it was just a really rough run. So what I've come to see is that it is our consciousness, and how I define that, by the way, is the inner vibratory pattern of your beliefs, emotions, attitudes, and thoughts. So Kelly, you and I met and we liked each other immediately because
Mm,
we have a very similar consciousness, beliefs, emotions, attitudes, and
mhm,
thoughts. You notice if you pay attention, that's a little acronym, BEAT. We had a similar beat, similar vibe. Your beat creates your vibe. And that is a spiritual truth. Like energy
mm,
attracts like attracts like on the energetic plane. So when you meet somebody that has a similar inner world of belief, emotion, attitude, and thought, you're like, oh, I like them. What is it about them? I don't know what it is. I just really like her. And then maybe you'll meet somebody else at the other end of the room and you're like,
mm.
what it is about them. I just don't like their vibe. You just give me the creeps. And like, you can't think of anything to say, right? Like 10 minutes ago, I'm like, beep, 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 and had all these things to say with this person. But now I'm in front of this other person and we don't vibe. And literally, I don't know what to say. You've all had that experience. I know you have. So
Like
that is what
yesterday.
I'm, yeah, yeah. That is exactly what I'm talking about when I'm talking about this inner world, your resonant frequency that gets created. And this isn't my philosophy, by the way. This is science, that the way you
Mhm,
think, the way you feel creates an electromagnetic
mm,
field around you that can be measured. So you have that vibe about everything. You have that vibe about everything. You have a vibe about money. You have a vibe about fitness. You have a vibe about marriage. You have a vibe about raising kids. You have a vibe about politics. You have a vibe about everything. We mentioned that thing, and you immediately have a reaction to it. That, in fact, could be measured. So, what we've learned is that the way that you think, feel, and believe about money is largely the creative element of how you experience money, and
mm,
how much money you have, how you're able to create wealth versus piss off every dollar that ever comes your way, or lose every dollar that comes your way, or end up in all kinds of financial distress and difficulty. All of that is contingent upon the consciousness that you live in. And what's so
mm,
hard about that is that your consciousness is really hard to see. You know,
mhm.
a lot of people don't have a really in-depth level of self-awareness, and a lot of it is subconscious. So money vibe is all about that. It's about your inner world of belief, emotion, attitude, and thought.
Oh,
I love
so
that.
amazing.
I definitely, you can feel the vibe. It's measurable. It's science. Like
You
that
can
is
feel
so
it,
completely
right?
true. You know,
Yeah,
one
yeah.
thing in reading up on you, Jackie, before we had an opportunity to meet here, you talk a lot about the scaling with consciousness. And you were talking about it briefly here too. We at GoBundance Women talk a lot about scaling without sacrifice, right? I think that's a complete straight line of what, someone, a founder might be trying to do. So maybe tell me a couple practical daily habits or a couple actionable items that a founder that feels really frazzled might do in order to scale with consciousness.
Yeah, you mean scale your business, not scale your
Yeah.
consciousness.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, scale your business, yeah. Oh, I love this. So one of the most practical things that you can do is be mindful of what comes out of your mouth about
Mm,
money.
mm,
What are you actually saying about money, about your inflow? Uh, So being my like one of the things that I've trained myself to do is I never say I can't afford that. I never say I don't have the money for that. I simply say I'm not choosing to spend my money that way right now. That's not an investment that I want to make right now. That's not how I'm going to spend my money right now. Right. So be really mindful, because how you language your world, how you speak, how you
Mm,
language your world is how you create your world.
mm,
So be mindful of how you speak about money with your team, with your spouse, with yourself. I mean, that's one of my litmus tests for for knowing how your money vibe is asking three simple questions. What do you most often think about money? What do you most often feel about money? And then what do you most often say about money?
mm,
So I would encourage people to answer those questions, because if your thoughts about money are, I'm freaking out and I don't think I'm going to make it with this startup, chances are you won't. And
yeah.
that doesn't mean you've got your head in the sand and you're not watching the numbers. It doesn't mean that. It means that your ground of being, it's a coaching phrase, sorry, your ground of being, which is just kind of the water that you're always swimming in. If your ground of being is negativity and fear and strife and worry, that is what you will experience. And
Mm,
if your ground of being is like, we got this, and we're able to create miracles, and no matter what it takes. My spouse and I use that phrase all the time, like, we got this.
mm,
We've been through a lot. We've been through a lot, and we can do this. So having that I mean, it is stunning to me what I've been able to, I mean, from where I started from to where I am now, it is absolutely stunning to me that I was able to do that. And it's not because I'm smarter, I work harder, I'm in an industry that just popped. None of the above is the case. It is simply that consciousness is creative. So that's one thing. Be mind, assess your own money vibe through what you think, feel, and say, your vibe about money, and then change your language and how you speak about money. And another thing that is just a simple thing, I would do this at least once a week, if not daily, with your leadership team, is account for three good things that happened today. And if you can account for three good things that happened today with money, that's even better. uh it's a way of changing your consciousness, because what we're naturally drawn to do neurologically and psychologically is to see what's wrong, broken, or missing, to see what's not working. The ego, your psychological mechanism
mm,
called the ego, is designed to keep you safe, and the neurological mechanism of the negativity bias says, watch out, be careful, don't do that again. So you have to counter this kind of very natural vibe that you have of caution, and scarcity and fear. You have to counter that, and a great way of using your mind to train your brain is by consciously choosing three good things that you want to focus, or three good things that happened every day, and then what does that say about you? So a lot of people say, "Oh, you just mean a gratitude list." No, I actually don't. That's a separate thing that I also do every morning and teach a lot of a way to change consciousness, change your vibe. There's tons of science behind it. But I'm actually, the three good things exercise is write down three good things that happen in your business about money. And then what does that say about you?
mm,
What does that say about
mm.
me? Well, and you're just kind of making it up, but you're rewiring your brain. What it says about
Yeah.
me is that I'm a good leader. What it says about me is that I had a really good idea that other people were able to pick up on. What that says about me is that we're creating sales processes that are seamless for our end user to be able to engage in. What does it say about me? Because what does our brain usually do? It says I suck. It says I'm a loser. It says I'm not going to get to the other side of this. So you have to actively counter that in order to change your vibe.
Mm, so good. So good. I wish, like, a lot of times it's like, could you just be a co-pilot in people's day every day? Help them adjust their language and shift focus. And I
Yeah.
think so many people would get to the next level. You know, one of the numbers, and I know your experience in therapy and coaching that I really look at, that I believe is sabotaging a lot of success amongst female leaders and entrepreneurs, is that 66% of women are reporting chronic stress. How
Yeah.
do you see, like, you and I talk a lot about raising consciousness at scale, which we'll get into a little bit in the documentary that we've done. but what would you recommend to the women out there? Because I believe stress is the opposite from having the energetic vibe that you need to attract in, more opportunity. How do you recommend that they reduce that chronic stress that they're feeling?
Yeah. So first of all, stress is not always negative. So we
Right.
want to talk about reducing negative stress because
Yes.
you do want to be stressed. How does a diamond get made? A diamond gets
Mhm.
made by being stressed. So you want to have good stress. What good stress is that what's in front of you, the goals, the challenges, the problems that you're solving are just a little bit beyond your capacity to do them, not hugely over your capacity. That's when it's stress, right?
Mhm.
That's when it's negative stress. So you want to be challenged, you want to be optimized, you want to be inspired, you want to feel engaged. And that is a form of stress. So what you're talking about is negative stress. And I think one of the best ways of honestly of eliminating, I was not even reducing, or it's like really like how do you live a life free of negative stress?
Mm.
And it really is, it's creating your life with intention. But one of the most important things I teach in a whole other body of work of mine called Calming the Chaos, which is a self-management productivity piece of work, is plan your life and live your plan. If you are not, first of all, clear on where you want to go this quarter, this year, this year, this quarter, this month, this week, this day, if you're not clear on where you want to go, you'll be going everywhere. So you can do anything, but you can't do everything, at least not all at once. So even if you're planning, like I've got plans well into 2027. I have projects that I'm working on that won't, that I know I'm going to be working on. I've committed to working on them, and they won't even begin until like Q3 2026.
Mhm.
So I'm a person who wants to do a lot of things. I'm sure a lot of your audience is. They're people that are up to a lot, but how well do they actually have it planned? So, and when I say planned, I don't mean like a good idea. I mean, it's literally in your calendar, that
Mm.
we can go to your calendar and see what it is that you are up to. Now, maybe like, oh, I don't know exactly what it is. Yeah, right. I know. But you put in a placeholder. You put in a
Mhm.
placeholder of what that project is, what that next initiative is. So anyway, all the way down to what does your day look like? My day is literally planned minute to minute to minute from the time I wake up until the time I go to bed. Now, some people are like, oh my God, that's awful. How do you have no spontaneity? That sounds horrible. It's my freaking schedule. Like, if I want spontaneity, I don't do that thing. I do the other thing. It's your schedule. Or, well, I wouldn't be able to, I couldn't stand looking at all that. No, what do you want? All of it in your head? So it's causing
Right.
stress. See,
Mhm.
what happens is once you get it out of your head and into your schedule, it can literally start to disappear from like, I got to do that thing. I got to do, I'm doing it Tuesday at 2 o'clock.
My
When am I
brain
going
is
to
a
get that
full
done? When am I gonna...
Yeah, sorry. My brain is a full glass of water. I so completely believe that. For something to come in, something's got to go out. And if you show me your schedule and you show me your checkbook, you have shown me your real priorities. Not the thing you say is your priority, but what your actual priority is. I read a little bit about this calming the chaos idea, that your concept. Tell me a few more actionable things that these entrepreneurs that are out there that feel some overwhelm, how could they go about, besides getting really clear, what's the next step in calming the chaos?
Yeah. So first of all, it's getting really clear. Do a brain dump of all the things that you want to and have to do. Just do a brain dump, put it on a list, and then take that list and translate it into your schedule, and then throw the freaking list away. See, to-do lists are a setup for failure because they have no orientation in time. So you have this really long to-do list of all these things you want to do, and you have this much free time that you can actually do it in. And then what does that cause? Then you walk around with this mindset, I'm such a failure. What's wrong with me? Why don't I get it all done? I should get more done, right? And when you do that, you're creating a negative vibe about yourself and your productivity. So first of all, it's get clear on all of it. Literally, like write it all down. When I teach this in workshops, I have people write down everything they want to do and have to do between now and when they die. I do. Why not? Let's plan out the whole thing. Let's get it all out of your head. Now, it's a little bit, it's funny to watch people's reaction. At first, they're like, oh, this is just stupid. And then they get into it, right? And they write a page or 2 pages or 3 pages. And then there's this moment of like, oh, is that it? Is that all
Mm.
there is? That's what I want to see. That when
Mm.
you actually categorize it, like get it all down, get it all out of your head, it's not really that overwhelming. What's overwhelming is when it's living in your neurology, because you've only got so much mental real estate. And when you've got all of that in your head, it feels overwhelming. And then your frontal lobes shut down, your executive functioning, your ability to make good decisions and prioritize and make and follow a schedule shuts down. And you just feel overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So getting clear on it is, first of all, put it all down in a brain dump, but don't stop there. Then translate that brain dump into your schedule and actually have a plan. And then have an accountability buddy that you meet with every day, whether it's a coach or a business owner or somebody else on your leadership team, where you are having regular conversations about what you're up to and what you're creating. Those kinds of structures. And then, there's personal things too. Like if you really want to quiet your head, meditate 1 minute 4 times a day.
Mm.
Now, I'm saying 1 minute 4 times a day because neuroscience has shown that meditating 1 minute 4 times a day is the neurological equivalent benefit as 20 minutes of seated meditation. And most busy executives and founders don't have or won't spend, I won't say don't have, they won't spend 20 minutes of seated meditation because they don't feel the benefit. But when you do 1 minute, 'cause you can do a minute, girlfriend, I'm telling you, sit on the John 5 minutes long or, a minute longer. Take a minute before you get out of your car. Take a minute before you put your hands on the computer. Take a minute before you fall asleep at night. Anybody can freaking do a minute. Okay. So, and what the science has shown is that 1 minute done consistently 4 times a day over the course of less than a month had the same neurological benefit of reducing stress hormones in the body, improving your immune
Wow.
system, improving quality of sleep, improving peace of mind. So
Yeah.
1 minute 4 times a day of just, and what do you mean? Well, I've tried meditation. I can't do that. Exactly. That's why they call it a practice.
Yeah.
So
Well, and most
it's,
people don't even know what it is. They
most
don't,
people don't
they're
even
like,
know
oh,
what
I
it is.
can't do it. And you're like, it's just breathing and being
It's
present.
simply
Like,
breathing, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So what I tell people is simply sit down, for the first week, just literally sit still for a minute. Don't even worry about what your head is doing. Just sit still. Don't move your body for a minute. Like, because you know what that does? That focuses people,
Yeah.
right? They're like, am I moving? Do I have to itch? Am I comfortable? Right. So, but they're they're actually getting in their body. They're
Yeah.
actually getting present. So when I teach this, I have people do that for a week. Just, sit still 4 times a day for a minute.
Love
And
it.
I'll tell you, 90% of the people that come back after a week practice have not done it.
Oh,
I tried it. Okay. Oh, it's crazy because
yeah,
everybody wants a new life, but nobody wants to change.
for
Yes.
sure.
Everybody
Jackie,
wants a
talk
new.
to me a little bit about the film that's coming out here pretty soon, Money
Yay!
Vibes.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I met
exactly.
you through actually being a guest on your podcast, which is amazing, but then I ended up being on your film as well. So
Yeah,
tell me
yeah.
a little bit about the
You were on
purpose.
my podcast, then you were on my summit. You were on my
Yes.
Money Club summit, and then you were on my we were together in this
Yeah.
film. So yeah, you and I together are in a film called Your Money Vibes that is a deep dive into this notion of the creative element of life is your inner world of beliefs, emotions, attitudes, and thoughts. It is your consciousness that's creative. So Kelly and I, along with like Bruce Lipton and Marie Diamond, Marissa Peer, Dawson Church, Joe Vitale, Bruce Lipton, and Michael Beckwith, Coot Blackson, and a handful of other speakers and teachers have created this documentary film to help people on this journey from like starting to look at what is my inner world, what have I created, and then what's possible by literally mastering your inner domain. And it does
Mm.
it's constant practice. It is constant practice. Like I'm building a house right now with my spouse, and we're doing it with Amish builders. We have Amish builders, and so it's time and materials. And we got our first labor bill from the Amish guys, literally like written on a piece of paper with pencil. And yeah, I mean, we're going super old school here, but it's super fun. I didn't want to just build a house. I wanted to create a story. So we got our first labor invoice from them, and it was higher than I thought it was going to be. I teach this stuff. I wrote a book called Money Vibe. I have a Money Vibe Summit. I'm now doing a film called Money Vibe. I teach this stuff. And you know what came out of my mouth? Ooh, that's higher than I thought. Are we going to be okay with our labor costs? And then I caught myself and I was like, who the hell just said that? Who just said that? And I teach this very simple thing. I want to use this example called the 3 C's method to rewire your neurology. And the first C is you had to do exactly what I just said. Like I said this ridiculous thing that I don't want to create. And then I caught it. First C, catch it. I caught that thing that I said. Like, who said that? But the fear's there, man. We're in this human experience. It's real. So you catch it. And I heard myself like, oh, who said that? Challenge it. You have to do this middle step. Challenge it. Is that what you want? Is that true? Is that the experience that you want to have here? That you're not going to have enough money for labor? Is that the experience you want to have? No. Is that even true? No, of course it's not true. No. So you able to debunk that thought. And then the third C, you change it. And I laughed, chuckled, and said to my spouse, like, I can't believe I just said that. Of course we're going to have enough money. In fact, we're going to have more than enough money to create this as a great experience for ourselves and for the builders.
Love that. Love
So
that,
that's a really
Jackie.
good,
We
another
could
good
talk
tip.
to you all day. Like,
Thanks,
honestly,
girlfriend, no
you've
problem.
been such a tremendous guest here. And I would say like some of the big things for me is I love the application of just, consciousness to your day and your life, of just really being able to focus on those 3 things and then tie it back to yourself. One of the things that I really noticed is that we're not celebrating. Like, you started and you're like, I'm so proud of myself. I mean, girl, you were homeless, you were an addict, and now here you are with films coming out that are going to change the whole world. Like, holy crap balls. I guess I could say that on here, right? Crap balls is all right. Anyway, just so grateful for you. Mandy, what about you? What was the biggest impact
Oh
here
man.
today?
Hot mess to happy and blessed. Just that little moniker was fantastic that I'm totally going to borrow. And
Yeah,
I,
you
I
can have
do
it.
what are 3 good things that happened to me? I even do this with my kids. I do this with our teams, but I'm now going to make us all do, what does that say about me? Because that additional application, it makes it so much deeper. Thank you for that. Jackie, one thing that's really important to us at GoBundance Women is to serve those who have served us. So, what is an introduction or a resource or something that our listeners or Kelly or I could do that would serve you?
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I think one of the things I'm really committed to right now is creating these films, these stories, documentary style films. I've got 2 in the works right now. Kelly's in 2 of them. The Frequency of Miracles will be coming out in 2026. Your Money Vibes is coming out shortly. So those 2. And then I just had a couple of meetings this week about one that will be more based just on my life story. And it will be teaching from the intersection of wisdom, tradition, and neuroscience. So if anybody has resources of people that would want to invest in that film, be a sponsor for that film, be a cast member for that film, I'm all in. That's
Holy
kind of
So, what
moly.
is the best way for someone to get a hold of you?
Sure. Jackie at JackieWoodside.com. Jackie, JACKIE, at Jackie Woodside, WOODSIDE.com.
And I can absolutely profess she's got amazing tools and is amazing coach. So if you want to take your financial life to the next level, just definitely connect with Jackie as well. And I know we'll be able to share it with the GoBundance women community that you've got this film as well. I know we've got a lot of people that have stories and connections and other things too. So Jackie, thank you so much for joining us today on the Power Up Your Life podcast. And for those of you listening, check out Power Up Your Life now for all the resources that you need to scale your business without sacrifice. So thank you for joining in. Make sure you share the episode, drop us a review, and look forward to catching you on the next Power Up Your Life.